New Dawn in the Church is a spirit-filled Catholic family pilgrimage conference.
What day will I be equal? And can you explain just why? Is being human not enough? How do I qualify? Will it be when I'm 30, with a family of my own? Or how about at 21, because I'm fully grown? Should 16 be the start-up date? I could get married then. Or how about at 12 years old? Or would you rather 10? What can I do to help you see that though I'm only 5 and learning slow and rather small, I am just as much alive? And 4 or 3 or 2 or 1, what difference do they make? A year, a day, a law, a choice on which my life's at stake. You see, I'm human when I'm born. It's undeniable. But did I get my human rights when I was viable? Well, why not then at week 16, when you could feel me move? Or do I need to earn my life? And do I earn your love? Why not at the moment when my world had just begun? I was still human then, you know. So why not on day 1?
Hi, my name's Ben.
And I'm Isabel.
And we run March for Life UK. Some of you may have joined our online event last month, or maybe you've actually been to March for Life in London, or maybe you've never even heard of March for Life. Either way, it's great to be with you today. Well, virtually that is.
And it's a privilege to be part of this online event for New Dawn. We feel absolutely blessed for being invited, and thank you for taking the time out to be part of it.
So, today we're going to talk to you about abortion.
Well, actually, we're going to talk about how to talk about abortion. Let me explain.
Okay.
Talking about abortion isn't always easy. Sometimes the topic can come up unexpectedly, and we feel pushed to speak out. Sometimes we plan a conversation, but it doesn't go as well as we hoped. At other times, people's preconceived ideas of us can give us extra obstacles to navigate around. But there are techniques we can learn to help us out with this, and that's what we're going to go over today. Hopefully, they won't just be equipping us to talk about abortion better, They could also affect our online dialogue, say on social media, and maybe even affect our way of thinking. And it's all very simple.
What we need to learn are 2 key points. We need to speak with love and we need to speak with truth. And of course, remember what comes out of our mouth is going to sound false if it's not already in our hearts and in our minds. So we need to think honestly and lovingly too. Now, this may all sound a bit too simple to really make a difference to our dialogues, but it's surprising how many of us can excuse ourselves by saying things like, I was only speaking the truth, sidelining then the fact that we weren't speaking with love and thus disregarding the emotional aspect of a person. Or we can allow ourselves to be swayed by kind, well-meaning and compassionate sounding words which are lacking in truth.
We're going to give you a few role-play situations now. See if you can recognise yourself in any of these. Can you pick out which ones show love without truth and so a counterfeit love, and which show truth without love and so a counterfeit truth, and the one which manages to combine them both? Take a look. Hiya Ben, can I ask you advice on something?
Yeah, of course, go for it.
One of my friends at work, she told me she had an abortion a few years ago. She says she's fine, but I've noticed she gets very emotional around the anniversary of the abortion. And recently she's been telling me she keeps getting nightmares, she has trouble sleeping. And I think it might be to do with the abortion, but I'm not sure if I should say anything or if there's anything I should do. What do you think?
It's not surprising she's struggling with it. She killed her baby and is clearly in denial. If someone murders their own child, then they deserve to feel bad about it, really. That's the consequence of doing something wrong.
We see in this initial response a serious lack of love and a horribly blunt truth. Also, it's very unhelpful. If that was the pro-life movement, then to be frank, I'd want no part of it. One of my friends who had an abortion told me once that she wanted to know pro-lifers loved her before she told them she regretted what she'd done. It's not too hard to show love to someone when they say they're sorry, they admit they've behaved badly or acknowledge they've messed up. But if that's a precondition for our love, then there's only going to be a very small percentage of the population for us to love. Our love needs to be unconditional, and it needs to be evident. It's no use us knowing we love if it's not coming across in what we say. Let's listen to another response.
I'm sure she did what she thought was best at the time. There's no need for any shame. The past is the past. Tell her to put it all behind her and move forward. Why doesn't she ask the doctor for some medication to help her sleep?
We see in this answer that Ben sounds like he cares, but when you actually analyse the content, you realise he's justifying everything that's been done, and in the process, sacrificing the truth in an effort to save someone's feelings. Again, it's actually quite unhelpful too. If this woman is suffering because of her abortion, then it's not really sleep medication she needs to solve her problems. Let's hear one last response.
Oh, that's really sad. But it's great that she's confided in you. I'd start by seeing if she wants to talk about it anymore, and then simply just listen. She might not have had a chance to share this with anyone before. Maybe suggest going online and checking out Rachel's Vineyard. They run special weekends for anyone suffering after an abortion. Let her know that the people who run them have themselves had an abortion, so they've walked in the same shoes and know what it's like. They're certainly not going to judge anyone. Let me know if there's anything else that I can do.
In this last response, it's clear that Ben cares, and he's not shying away from the truth either. It also ends up being the most helpful response too, as he shows a way forward. In that effort to help, Ben's love becomes evident, but he doesn't attempt to downplay or justify what happened with the abortion. It's also worth remembering that it's not uncommon for people to talk about a friend when in actual fact it's their own situation they really want advice on. how caring we sound about somebody else might actually be telling someone how much we care for them. Let's move on to one more role play. Maybe imagine yourself as one of the people in this situation. Hi Mark, how's uni?
Yeah, uni's not too bad. I've got a bit of another problem though. Chloe came round last night and we were chatting and she told me that she was pregnant. Didn't handle it very well. We argued loads and went home. She's been texting me this morning, she's ringing me this afternoon, and I've just been ignoring her because I just don't know what to do. My head is totally shut. I don't know whether to keep it or not, whatever. I just don't know what to do. What do you think?
Oh my goodness, this has all happened so quickly. Surely you should have thought about it before you started sleeping together, not now. And I don't know why you're avoiding Chloe. It's just as much your problem as hers. Really, you need to man up and accept your responsibility. You can't carry on living a carefree life forever. You've got to accept the consequences for your actions. You know, reality check. You're a dad now.
In this first response, Isabel is being honest, but she's really not giving any consideration to Mark's feelings. Both the words that she's saying and her tone of voice sound very judgmental and lacking in love. If I ever had a reaction like that from someone, I imagine I'd walk away feeling worse than ever, and it would be the last time I confided in them. Let's see another response.
Look, this is no one's fault. These things happen. Why don't you let Chloe decide whether she wants to have a child or not, and just let her know you'll stick by her whatever she chooses. Give her some space and don't worry about it. It'll all be fine.
So, Isabel might mean well with these words, and her tone certainly sounds a lot kinder and more understanding this time round. But she's not really accepting the reality here. Chloe has a child within her, whether she and Mark acknowledge that truth or not. To suggest that Chloe needs some space is incredibly unhelpful at a time when she's probably already feeling alone, and it's just giving Mark an excuse to not face up to things, as is the suggestion that the decision be left to Chloe alone. These words might well be what Mark wants to hear, but a real friend never compromises on the truth. Let's watch one more time.
I guess it's going to take a while to sink in, but that's probably the same for Chloe too. I bet she's feeling pretty scared right now. I really think you should talk to her. Look, I know a few good places that can provide help and support, both for you and Chloe now, so that you can find out more about how to continue your studies and things like that, but also later on. They can help with things like finances, accommodation, practical support long term. Look, let me give you a phone number for the Good Counsel Network. They speak to a lot of students in similar situations to yours. And Chloe, she might find it useful to use the text-to-talk service that the Life Charity provide. And hey, make sure you tell Chloe she can come and talk to me anytime. Look, it's not the end of the world, you know. Some of the best things in life are unplanned.
Now, that's the response that we were looking for. Honest, but loving. Isabel is trying to take Mark's feelings into consideration here. He hasn't come to her to be judged, but clearly he needs some help as to which way he should turn. There's nothing wrong with encouraging someone along the right path, and Mark's doing no one any favours by ignoring his girlfriend at a time when she probably needs him more than ever. It's a useful exercise, you know, to go online and to research the different pro-life organisations that there are around the UK. See what kind of help that they provide. You never know when someone might ask you for advice or just share their story with you. It's helpful then that you already know where to point them. Remember, the details of all the organisations around the UK can be found on our website, marchforlife.co.uk.
For those of us who are Catholics or other Christians, it's particularly important that we share both truth and love when we are speaking, as that's the only way to authentically spread the gospel. God is love, and Jesus himself said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." To share both love and truth is to share God. There's a saint who died in the gas chambers of Auschwitz during World War II, a nun, Saint Edith Stein. She too lived at a time when certain people were deemed less human or subhuman, but she refused to be drawn into this dark or confused way of thinking. She's well known for her saying, "Love without truth is not love, and truth without love is not truth." So that's love without truth is not love, and truth without love is not truth.
Maybe you've had an abortion and you're telling yourself something like, "I don't deserve to be forgiven." Well, that's true. None of us deserve to be forgiven. It's a pure gift. But to simply say what we deserve is looking at things without love, and so a counterfeit truth. As we said, God is also love, and He is dying to forgive you. In fact, He literally died so that you and I can be forgiven, and He offers that forgiveness to us in the sacrament of reconciliation. He knows what you've done and loves you that much. His love is unconditional.
Maybe you're someone who thinks there's exceptions where abortion is okay, like if a child is conceived through rape. This may sound a compassionate and loving response to a woman who's been through a tremendous trauma, but it's missing the truth. There is no human being, no matter how small, how disabled, no matter how they were conceived, which makes them less deserving of life or less worthy of God's love. We are all made equally in God's image. And the truth is, of course, that abortion itself is a trauma for a woman, and to encourage or facilitate a rape victim to go through the additional trauma of abortion, letting her think this will help, well, that's a counterfeit love.
So let's make a decision that starting today in all our dialogues, whether face to face or online, or even conversations we have with ourselves in our head, that we will never speak the truth unless we speak in love, and that we will never show love at the expense of hiding the truth.
If you want to find out more about pro-life issues, you can go to our website, marchforlife.co.uk, and you can view some of the videos from our recent online event, Livestream 20, or read some of our blogs, and get ready to join us and thousands of others next year in London, where we will be witnessing the truth with love.
So for now, thank you for being with us today, and have a fantastic rest of your conference. And here's a taster of what March for Life really is all about.
I am pro-life because I survived a failed abortion, first of all. 41 years ago in the United States, I survived a saline infusion abortion. I'm also pro-life because I believe that women and children deserve better than what abortion offers.
I am pro-life because it is unbelievable that at a time like this, when we're all talking about human rights, that in many, many Western countries, the right to life of the unborn is being denied. And as a pro-life person, my work and my vocation and my mission is to continue speaking up for these ones until their right to life is protected.
Are we here to save lives?
March for Life is so important. It should be a sad event or a solemn event in some ways because we're commemorating the death of so many millions of children. But at the same time, there's a great joy in being here with so many other people who are totally committed to serving life and loving life. Just like every human being, the March for Life is an irreplaceable event in our calendar.
Whatever your story is, whatever story you have to share, your voice matters. Because it is our voices together, loving louder, that's going to pierce the darkness, that's going to make a difference. We don't not abort because of what they can offer society. We choose life because it's not a life that's ours to take. Because every life is irreplaceable. Because every life matters. Our humanity is immutable. Our worth is irrefutable. All lives are irreplaceable. That's why we march. That's why we're here.
We choose life for all, not just for some. It's the most basic justice. That's why we're here. Whatever our background, whatever our faith, we choose life for all.
New Dawn in the Church is a spirit-filled Catholic family pilgrimage conference